So I'm gonna use first names, Miss Marcy, if that's
Hmm.
okay with you.
Yep.
And do I have permission to record this video and use it for my talks or promotional purposes?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, very good. So, um, tell me a little bit about what your experience with ketamine has been. And could you share with me a little bit about what it was like before the treatment?
Yeah, mostly all my treatment since May 2007 for my depression has been just antidepressants. And I've had nothing that's worked for me, really.
Right,
And I've tried pretty much everything that's out there.
right,
And I actually just got done trying another one, and I either have a bad reaction or it just doesn't help my depression at all. It's not noticeable. The only, I've had success with Prozac. That's about it. But nothing like the success that I've had with ketamine.
So you share with me what your depression was like and how severe it gotten with suicidal and can you tell me what that was like?
Hmm. I had gotten to the point with my depression that I ended up having, I was suicidal several times. Um, I ended up having a psychotic episode where I was hearing auditory voices that were giving me ideas on how to commit suicide and actually coming up with inventive ideas that I hadn't even thought of.
Right.
And it frightened me a lot. And so when I came, luckily I had just started with your practice just 2 months before, and I came in and it was a suicide situation. It was either I'm going to be hospitalized. I think the only reason I could go home was because I had such good support at home, and I can try the ketamine treatment. And so we started the ketamine treatment within a week of this, and it saved me. I can say it saved me.
What
And go ahead.
what made you decide to do ketamine?
At that point, when you've had depression as long as I've had, if there's an opportunity to do something new, you're going to take it. And you don't dare let yourself get too excited, because how many times have you gotten excited? Well, I mean, you don't get excited when you're depressed, but my version of excited about me, hopeful that something new will help. And, at that point, I was willing to try anything. Even if I hadn't have been willing to try anything before, I mean, I was to the point where I had to. I
Right,
have two boys at home, and I owed it to my family.
right, right. Did you have any like fears or concerns about starting ketamine? Or was there anything that made you say, oh, I don't know if I want to do this or not?
No, I knew it wasn't a want. I was to the point in my depression where I had to do it. I needed an out from that situation, or I might not be here today.
Right,
So I did not have any fears, and Toya, of course, is wonderful.
right. Good,
And being a nurse from way back, she's a great
good,
nurse.
good.
So I mean, I the biggest thing with ketamine is knowing that someone's there, and I knew she was there. I know she's excellent. She's excellent with her care. I knew that I was in good hands. So I mean, if anything were to go wrong, she had it.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
had me. So no, not really any worries.
So what is it like to do ketamine? You've done the IV ketamine and the nasal spray.
Mhm.
What is it like to do the IV ketamine?
The IV ketamine is more immediate and it leaves you faster. That's my experience. It's not everyone's experience, from what I understand. But so it's like an hour, and the effects of it, like the effects of taking it, come on fast. They're much more controlled. You can, it's a bloodstream thing. So 1 minute you can be at this level, and she can easily adjust it down or up. And then when you're done, you're done.
Right. How do you feel when the ketamine kicks in?
You feel it's very hard to describe. It's nothing looks the same. Everything is bright. It looks very different. I guess some people might describe it like a psychedelic situation or experience. And so you're very vulnerable. And again, it comes in with knowing, I could see with patients that they might be frightened. Um, Again, Toya just really negates all that because I know she's there. So it's very hard to describe, but it's not unpleasant or it's I don't know. Yeah, I can't really describe it. I guess you'd have to. Well, I don't really want to go there, but you can edit this. It'd be kind of like probably what people experience doing acid.
Right, right. And I've heard of all different types of descriptions. I've heard people say, I'm melting into the universe, or I can touch the sun. And
Thank you.
yeah,
Yes, I was like, I felt one time like I was in a membrane and I'm just about to burst through. And if I could just see the other side, my depression would be gone.
oh, yes,
I would have had a feeling where I said, I feel like I'm touching the surface of the sun.
yes, yes. It's, it's definitely an interesting experience. Sometimes I have a hard time explaining it to potential clients because I
Mm-hmm.
haven't experienced it myself.
Mm-hmm.
But there are definitely common themes with the experience, with it being something's different. And my experience is very different from what
Yeah.
my normal senses are.
Mm-hmm.
So how's life changed for you now that you had the treatment? How do you feel differently?
Okay, this is how I describe ketamine. Um, if you take your life and you have it's the surface of the earth. Okay, so here you are, you have the surface of the earth, you have your house and you have stuff like that. It all crumbles and you can get antidepressants and you can kind of rebuild, but that's all temporary and it can fall down easy. Ketamine is the tectonic plates beneath the earth. So, I mean, we're making major changes deep down in your foundation. And the plates seem to move. I mean, now we're not just changing the surface; we're changing the soul. And ketamine goes in there and like shakes things up with those plates. And then after you do your ketamine a little bit, um, the plates are still kind of so you don't feel like the effects, the positive effects, like that day. Um, but you start to feel them over time because the plates start to settle out and things start to come together and you feel like you have a solid base. When I would go into depression, I would say it felt like I was in a hole in the earth and everything was dark and the soil was right here. And I could hear my family having fun way far away and I couldn't experience it. And it not only I could work my way out of the hole, but the hole was always right there and I probably always had my legs dangling in it. Ketamine is the first time since my depression started that the hole is way over there and I haven't seen it in a while.
That's a beautiful description, and I'm just very thankful that you trusted us with your care, and that you got the benefit of the treatment. Is there anything you'd like to say to a person that may be on the fence or maybe considering ketamine? What advice would you give them?
You've you've got to do it. I mean, I'm assuming this, with ketamine, I understand the requirements are you need to have, failure with a couple medications. And I think, and I mean, I can tell you from my side of it, I don't see a lot for myself. Antidepressants haven't worked. I don't know why anybody with depression wouldn't give everything, every option available a try. And I mean, it's changed my life immensely. So, ugh, if I had somebody and they were on the no, I would say you've got to do it. you've got to do it. Yeah, that makes all the difference. Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you for giving your insights on ketamine. I really appreciate this.
Mm-hmm.
And